Animal Man number 9, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Steve Pugh. We left off last issue with Buddy being overrun by creatures of the rot and then being possessed by one of the Hunter's three. So, he's dead. This issue picks up with him going into the Red Afterlife, and basically he's talking about how he's always had some strange dreams, one of which that he recounts is him meeting his literal creator named Grant Morrison. This is a Scottish guy who says that he's a character in a comic book, which was an actual issue of Animal Man back in the day. So, yeah. But he's just sharing all this because he's like, this has to be a dream, right? This has to be a dream. So then we cut over to the family who's still driving in the RV. And Ellen's mother is like, maybe this is for the best. And she's like, what, Mom? That my husband went out to die? It's like, no, but like, I've never been happy with Buddy, but it's when he started putting you and everyone else in danger by doing the superheroics, that's where, like, I draw the line. I'm worried about you and the family. And she's like, it's not that simple. Buddy's just got to deal with this, and then everything will go back to normal. And she's like, psh, normal, yeah, okay. But then we see the rot-infested Animal Man flying through the sky. He grabs a bird out of midair and just bites its head off. Maxine wakes up from a nap and realizes that her dad's not there, like, anywhere. She can't feel her dad in the world anymore. Something is wrong. So then we cut down to Buddy in the underworld, and he feels like this place is familiar, but he's just looking around. He sees all these, like, bones and stuff like that. Just this flesh making up the entire world. And he's met by a guy who calls himself the Shepherd. And it's just this big goat man fawn thing who comes up and he's like, oh, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm lost. Where am I? He's like, this is the Underlands and you're in the bone orchard. And it's like, what? If you're lost, I'm the one who's going to help you out because I'm the shepherd. And he's like, I think I remember something. And then he just flashes back to the entire series as a whole. And he's like, oh, Maxine. Okay, I'm Buddy Baker. I'm the Animal Man. And Shepard's like, Animal Man. That's funny. That's a stupid name. And he's like, look, I think I may have died. I need to go talk to the totems, like, now. And he's like, oh, you want to talk to the big bosses? See, that's not going to happen. See, I don't know who you are. And unless you're an avatar of the Red, you're not going to go see the big bosses. And he's like, okay, well, here's the thing. I'm the father of the current avatar of the Red, and I'm supposed to be protecting her, so you're going to take me to see them now. And he's like, oh, sorry. Okay. So then we cut back to Maxine, who's freaking out because she realizes her dad is dead. Like, if he's not out there in the Red right now, then he's clearly not alive. So she's trying to convince her mom to go out and let her deal with this. And the mom's saying, of course, no deal. We're just going to keep driving and we're all staying together. But the Socks the cat comes up and says, like, all right, we need to keep heading east because that's where Swamp Thing is. And Ellen's like, nope, no Swamp Things, no Red, no totems, none of that. We're not doing any of that. And Socks starts yelling at Ellen, just like, you don't understand the severity of what's at stake. This is bigger than you and your family. This is about the fate of life itself. And then we cut over to Buddy, who finds some roadkill on the side of the road. He touches it, and he's able to get into the rot, or at least the hunter that's controlling him is. And the other two hunters are like, are you wearing Animal Man skin? And they're like, yep, and this way I'm going to make the girl ours. And they're like, no, she's learning too much. This is too risky. And she's like, I look like her dad. Clearly I should be able to convince her using this skin. And it's like, fine, but you need to lure her into the rot. That's the only way we stand a chance. And he's like, done, will do. So that's the plan, using Buddy's body. Meanwhile, actual Buddy is talking to the shepherd, and he's grotesquely apologizing. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were someone so important. I had the pleasure of guiding your little wing just the other day when she turned a fox into herself. And she's like, no, it's fine. Can we just get going? Because she's in terrible danger right now. And he's like, all right, here's the thing, though. Time moves a little bit differently in the Reds. Like, your now is not exactly now, but we'll get there. So they hop onto a ship to cross a blood ocean and make their way to a flesh desert. Okay? But as they move their way through, basically, there are all these creatures flying around, and Buddy asks, like, hey, what's all their story? And it's like, all these people were connected to the avatar of the Red in some way. Some of them were previous avatars themselves. Some of them were helpers or assistants or things that just wanted to come here and be able to help. Like, these were all the people who helped the avatars. But the whole reason that the avatar right now is so important is because of that. And he points out to this giant pocket of rot that's just extruding out of the sea. And he's like, these things pop up every once in a while, but they've been getting much bigger and much more frequent. And that's why your daughter has to be the one that, like, stops it, that fights it back. Then we cut back to Ellen and Cliff. They're walking through a motel parking lot where they're going to be staying for the night. And as they do so, they come across Constantine, who shows up and says, like, hey, I'm here to help you save the world. It's time we had a little chat. And that's where the issue ends off. Next issue is the annual. That's going to be on the 5th week this month. So be sure to tune into that. But as for this one, it's good. It's a solid enough story. I really liked in the earlier issues us exploring the red, and the totems were like doing the different things. I really liked the way that stuff was done. So to be able to go back there in a different part of the red and handle it differently, I'm very interested in that. In terms of what the hunters are doing, very interested as well, using Buddy as a literal skin suit to get close to Maxine. My only real critique is that, I don't know, I'm getting kind of tired of Ellen and her mother just being like, no, we're done with this craziness, no more. Like, I get it that that's what people would actually do, is just fight for normalcy as hard as they can. But in a superhero comic, I'm just kind of tired of them just trying to stop things as much as possible. Like, at a certain point, you just got to accept, like, yep, okay, we got a talking cat and 2 guys with animal powers. Let's just roll with the punches here. I'm just waiting for that to happen. So if she's going to keep on fighting the whole way through, then it's just going to make me lose interest in the character. But as it stands now, it's fine. It's just getting on the precipice of that. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this issue an 8. It's very well done, as has the entire run. Definitely looking forward to the annual. Don't know what they're going to be doing special for that, but maybe it'll have to do with the Constantine reveal here. So, yeah, 8 for Animal Man, and I'm looking forward to continuing it.